Hello everyone, in this video we're going to continue on with the 350 kilowatt chargers of EVs, and this video is going to show the BMW i3s and that is the 94 amp hour version. 94 amp hour translates into a 33.2 kilowatt hour battery, and that's about 27 usable. So let's take a look at how that comes out. Alright, so just a quick little funny story before we get stuck into it, and that's that my friend Chris, who owns the BMW, agreed to drive the car down to a low percentage in order to do this video. He's been in a few videos before, when I got my Zappy charger installed, and when we did the Brisbane EV cruise, he came along on that as well. But I had already met an i3s owner at the charger, and Chris pulled up and he had 8 kilometers remaining, and he said, did I want it any lower? And he had it lower before, so the i3s driver and his wife jumped in and they went for a quick spin down the highway, and when they came back, all their faces were pale because they'd been driving for the last few kilometers on 0%, and they were a bit worried about that. They were driving like 60 kilometers an hour in 110 zone just to make sure they got back. So when we take a look at the video, we'll see that the charge itself was actually on 0% when it started, and we actually go all the way up to 100%. So should be some pretty decent information for those looking for detailed information of the charge curves. Alright, so just looking at the charge now, I've sped up a 67-minute charge down into 2 minutes, just for your convenience, of course. And Chris has owned his car for about 18 months. He's done 64,000 kilometers already, which is some pretty heavy usage. Most people wouldn't drive 40,000 kilometers a year. But with the warmer climate in Australia that we experience, he's averaging around about 225 kilometers from a full charge, which isn't too bad. It's pretty similar to the Ionic 28 kilowatt hour. The max speed that we get on the charge is 47.25 kilowatts, and the 10 to 80% time was 29 minutes. Approximately 20 to 21 kilowatt hours put in, or 180 kilometers, so about 360 kilometers an hour, but the charge doesn't go that long. So if you also want to take into account the 10 to 90% time, it's only an additional 5 more minutes to get that extra 10%. So you can get approximately 24 kilowatt hours of your 27 kilowatt hours and give yourself 200 kilometers range. Alright, so just moving on to the charts. The charge was started at 0% and went right up to 100, as previously mentioned. And you can see that I'm really impressed by this car's charging curve. This is the amps, this yellow line, and you can see it gets up to like 85% and then it starts to drop away. That's almost the perfect charge curve for an EV. A lot of other models either step down a lot earlier, or they get to about halfway, then they curve down. So that charge curve's actually excellent, and the grey line's the pack voltage. So you can see it gets to pretty much maximum pack voltage up here, and then just pretty much stays the same. So once it gets to that point, BMW have put it in so it drops down. If we just go down to the actual charge curve though, here we are. So that's the whole 0 to 100%, very stable. The BMW has a 49 kilowatt charger, so it can't actually get up to that 50 kilowatt up the top there, but what more is there to say? It's very stable, and then you get to that high state of charge and then drops down. Ideally though, your speed at this point here at the 85% mark, if you can make it to the next charger at this point, then it's fine if you're on a long trip to leave then. Otherwise, just for another 5 minutes, you may as well charge to 90%, which is here. And then if you leave it any longer, you're just going further and further down. It's a pretty steep curve, so you're really going down to a really slow speed. I wouldn't particularly be bothered about charging over 92, 93%. As we have a look at the actual values, just here are the 90s to 100. So this section here is the actual speeds as you get above 90%. So look at that 95th one there, only 14.7 kilowatts. So ideally, probably 92 is when you can leave, and some 50 kilowatt chargers stop you at 95 anyway. So depending how much time you've got, just let it max out on the charger, or if you can make it to the next charger, leave it 85%. All right, well that's it for this one, short and sweet. If you've enjoyed this one, you might want to check out the Kona and Tesla Model 3 that I've done. And thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.